if you take out a $200,000 loan, make interest-only payments, 5 years from now, it's still a $200,000 loan. But eventually it'll start to amortize. But if there's plenty of equity, they may be using it as a plan. We don't see a lot. I see it more very high-end borrowers with very high-end income that may be using it just because they can use the money somewhere else.
It sounds as though it's being done with those that have a financial planner, an advisor that is a part of the entire process and the strategy, and not something that someone would decide on their own as they go and apply for a mortgage somewhere.
Right, exactly. It becomes part of a financial plan. Another good example is perhaps somebody that's just coming out of the residency as a doctor who knows that their income's going to increase relatively quickly, so they're buying a home, making interest-only payments during that time. It could be, the big jumbo loans where you're talking about $1 million, $1.5 million. Sometimes that is attractive to that type of customer. But for your average Pittsburgh homeowner, home buyer, I would not recommend an interest-only. It's going to put you in a place you don't want to be or didn't plan on being.
Right.
For example, $150,000 loan, if at 3.5% of its 30-year loan, interest-only for 10 years. Your payment will only be $437.50 a month. So it's your interest payment. You still have to pay your taxes and insurance. So you would pay that for 10 years. At the end of 10 years, you still owe $150,000. So the loan then has to amortize. It's going to amortize as a 20-year loan. Now your payment's going to jump from $437 to $870 a month. Almost, it's pretty close to double. And if people weren't planning on it, they've been comfortable making this mortgage payment for a long time, all of a sudden it jumps up.
Right.
Or if you're trying to sell the home in that time frame and you discover, and people actually didn't realize that they weren't paying down the principal on the loan at all. They owed exactly what they borrowed before, so they haven't built any equity. Makes it a little tougher to sell and move on sometimes. So there's a limited number of people that should be probably even looking at it. Most of them today are adjustable rate loans. They're not offered as any sort of fixed rate loans. So not only is it interest only, but adjustable. Lines of credit on home equity, it's common for that. But it's not going to, you're probably not going to lose your home over in the form of a home equity line of credit.
That to you, that it's time to consider a second opinion when it comes to getting a mortgage?
Yeah, and to be quite honest, I have very few people that ask me about getting an interest only. But and usually somebody who's familiar with it already, or is working with a financial planner, they're exploring that option.
Right.
They have a plan.
Right.
That they're going to lay out and say, well, there's no reason for me to pay down principal. Now, if you have an interest only loan, you can pay down the principal. You can make extra payments. But I still think it's a limited crowd. I don't get a lot of demand for it.
And like we were talking with the woman who called in, because she was persuaded that eventually the house would be paid for. But the reality is, if you're only making interest-only payments, none of it, not one dime ever goes to principal, and it would be impossible, would it not, to pay off a house ever by only paying interest-only payments.
It would actually be impossible, yes. But the way interest-only loans are structured, it'll start to amortize.
At some point down the road.
So that's why we call it a principal and interest payment.
Right.
So you're paying principal and interest, and it's front-loaded with interest, the mortgages, but as you get longer in that home, you're building equity at the same time that hopefully your property values go up.
Right. And the whole idea of making those extra payments where that money goes 100% to principal, then saves on interest on the backside, and you can greatly reduce the total length of time for your mortgage. Now, if I'm recalling correctly, if you have a 30-year mortgage and you make one extra payment a month, and you do that every year, how much time can you knock off of a mortgage?
Anywhere 6 or 7 years if you're paying one additional principal and interest payment. If you're making your full, I've seen borrowers do this where they make one full payment because that includes your taxes and insurance. So, and that can be applied towards your principal. So you're making an additional large principal payment each year. It can reduce your loan down to 22, 23 years, depending. But yeah, you can knock a significant, 6 to 7 years off of your loan.
And when you talk about the actual cash that you're saving, I mean, it's easily tens of thousands of dollars, right?
Sure. If you're $1,000 a month and you knock off 5 years, that's $60,000. 60 payments at $1,000 a month. You're knocking out $60,000 in total costs over the life of the
Okay. Mike Henry is with us. Final thoughts are coming up.
This is the Donner Bank Mortgage Hour. To join the show, call 1-866-391-1020. That's 1-866-391-1020. Or you can email the show at dollarbankinstantaccess@kdka.com. To get KDKA on your phone, download the CBS Local app now from iTunes or Google Play. KDKA, KLNHC, KDKA, FLHC2 Pittsburgh, and KDKA.com.
Or should we say 9? The Fan Golf Tour...